In this video, we are doing yet another question on limits. This was from 2021 August, and this is Maths in 5 question 1. If you're new to my channel, please care to like, share, comment, and subscribe and be part of this awesome community. And if you're a returning subscriber, please keep sharing the content and help the channel grow. The more students that we reach, the bigger we become and the more exciting content that we release. Okay, I don't know, I think in some of the videos that I've released, it sort of sounds like I have autism. Can't really think of why it sounds like I have, but I really don't think I do. I do listen to some of the videos that I post, and some of the things that I'm saying, it's as if I'm, anyways, I'm gonna think and keep that thought in mind that you don't have autism. Okay, so this question here is 1.1 and it's a 3-mark question. Okay, right, guys, we've already done a lot on the intro, what to do when you have different cases of limits. Okay, this one here seems a bit interesting, but before we can even do much, we need to find out which case is it, is it of indeterminate, right? So by that I mean we need to know if it's infinity over infinity, right, or if it's 0 over 0, right, or if you can just substitute and get the answer. Let me just rewrite that quickly. We have lim x approaches 3. Okay, and then we have x, or 3 minus x. We have 3 minus x. We are dividing this by root x eben. Okay, we have root x plus 1, right, minus 5x minus 11. Okay, just by looking at this, it looks extremely hard, right? But if we substitute, we're going to have 4 under here, and then if we substitute this, we're going to have 15 minus 11, which is also 4. So we're going to have root 4 minus root 4, that's 2 minus 2. Then if you put 3 over here, we're going to have 3 minus 3. So that's going to be the indeterminate form, guys, is going to be equal to, okay, let me just make some space. The indeterminate form is going to be 0 over 0. Okay, or you can redo that and check. Tell me in the comment section if I'm incorrect. Okay, so it's 0 over 0. So what we need to do is derive the numerator and the denominator, but before we can get to that, let me just write this in a way that we all can understand, right? The way that we all can understand. So I'm going to say 3 minus x, right? We're going to divide that by let's put this in the bracket and say x plus 1, but let's put it to the power of 1 over 2 and say minus 5x minus 11. Let's also raise that to the power of 1 over 2, right? So let's apply L'Hopital, right? And what we need to do now is to derive the numerator and the denominator. So we're going to say lim x approaches 3, okay? And then we derive the numerator, so we're going to have minus 1 in the numerator. Now we have to derive the denominator, okay? So now we're going to have 1 over 2x in there, plus 1, right, to the power of minus 1 over 2, okay? And then we derive the inside of the bracket. The inside of the bracket, guys, is going to be equal to 1. Okay, so we're not going to write that. The derivative of what's inside the bracket is going to be equal to 1, so we don't do that. So we're going to say minus 1 over 2. We open this, we're going to say 5x minus 11 to the power of minus 1 over 2. Okay, we have already found out what the derivatives are. Now we can try to substitute, to plug this in and see what we get. Or there's a different way you can also write this, but we can even leave it like this, guys. It doesn't really matter. Okay, because this is also equal to lim x approaches 3, and then we're going to have minus 1 there. We're going to divide this, guys, and then say, because look, this is to the power of minus 1 over 2, so it's the same as saying 1 over 2, right, times because if you put this in the denominator, if you put this in the denominator, it becomes 1 over 2. Okay, so what happens here is that we're going to have x plus 1, and then here we're going to have minus oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to multiply with 5 here, because the derivative of this is going to be 5 right off inside the bracket. So 5 times minus 1, now minus 1 over 2 is going to be minus 5 over 2. So it's going to be 5 here, and then we'll have the 2 here, and then what's happening here, we're going to have 5x minus 11. Okay, and then we can just bring in the 3, sorry, we're going to bring in the 3. Okay, so what do? We bring in the 3 and see what happens. So guys, by substituting 3 in here, we're going to have, okay, let's just see, lim x approaches 3, right? I feel like this is more interesting, easier. Okay, so we're gonna have minus 1, we're gonna divide this whole thing by 2 times, in here we're gonna have root 4, so this is gonna be 2 times 2. Okay, 2 times 2 minus 5. Ooh, okay, I forgot to put that over 1, because we're also dividing the whole thing by 1, isn't it? 1 over 2 times 2. Let's leave it like that. And then we're gonna say minus 5, and then we're gonna say 2 times, what is happening here? Remember, we were having 4 again there, so it's gonna be 4. So now what happens is that we are going to divide this now by, watch this, we're going to divide that by okay, let me not say that, let's just say is equal to, now we're gonna say minus 1. Guys, please just punch that in the calculator. If you have this step, you can just show some substitution and then just write the answer. Okay, right, and just write the answer. So it's 1 over 4, and then what do we have there? We have minus 5 over 8. Okay, and then what happens? Your answer is going to be, oh, my mistake, this guys, this one here is going to be 2, right? Because it's supposed to be root 4, so now it's supposed to be 2. I'm making a mistake there, so it's not going to be 8, it's going to be 2, right? Sorry, it's going to be 2 times 2, which gives us 4 over here. Okay, so this is the denominator, and if you subtract, your answer eventually on your calculator is supposed to be equal to 1. Okay, right, so that is the answer for this question here. Moving on, we have the second case. Okay, so let me just erase this real quickly. So now let's do 1.1.2. we have lim x approaches minus 1, and we are given 1 over 4 plus 3x plus 1 over x. Okay, we are dividing all this by x plus 1. If you substitute x into each position, you will find out that this is our indeterminate form. So we need to find the derivative of each. How do we do so? The first thing is to write everything in exponential form, everything that we can. So lim x approaches minus 1, we will have, okay, let me do this. We will have 4 plus 3x, but this is now to the minus 1, right? Plus x to the minus 1. Okay, like that. And we divide this by x plus 1. Okay, we haven't done anything. Now is the time for us to use L'Hopital's rule. I'll just write LH. Now we're going to have lim x approaches minus 1. We're going to have minus, okay, minus 1, 4 plus 3x to the minus 2. Okay, minus x to the minus 2, like that. And we divide all this by the derivative of this, which would be equal to 1. Okay, the answer that we get is minus 4. Right, but now let's just see what would happen if we can write this in a different notation, and then we substitute. Okay, so let's say lim x approaches minus 1. Okay, the answer is going to be minus 4. So it's the same thing regardless of the formation that you get. So the answer, our answer is going to be minus 4. Okay, so the next question, they're saying that find the limits, calculate the numerical value of ln y, and we have that. So we'll say since ln y is equal to lim x approaches minus 1. Oh no, x approaches 4. I'm looking at the wrong thing. X approaches 4. What do we have? We have cos x minus 4 minus 1 there. We are dividing this whole thing by 2x minus 1. Finding the indeterminate form. In here, we're going to have 0. So cos 0 is 1. 1 minus 1 is going to be 0. Over here, it's going to be 4 minus 4. So the indeterminate form is going to be 0 over 0. So what do? We use L'Hopital's rule. Okay, so therefore, we can say lim x approaches 4. The derivative of cos is minus sine, but then we're going to say x minus 4 times the derivative, which we already know is 1, and then minus 1, we don't have the derivative of that. We divide this by 2 because that is the derivative. Okay, if you substitute now sine 0, okay, so let's just say lim x approaches 4. What happens now if we substitute sine 0? It should be 0, right? Let's just say sine 0. Sine 0 is 0, so we're going to have 0 over 2, isn't it? Sine 0 over sine 0 minus sine, okay, it'll be 0 over 2. 0 over 2, and then what happens? The answer itself is going to be 0. Therefore, ln y is equal to 0. Guys, that is how you answer that question. The following question is a simple one. They're asking for us to calculate the value of ln y. So what do? It's very easy. We just equate this. We just say ln y is equal to 0, right? Y is equal to 0. So what do now? It's very simple. We know that the base of ln is the same as ln y is the same as saying log, and have the base as e, and then saying y is equal to 0. So now to find y, we'll just say y is equal to the base of log, which is e to the power of 0. Therefore, anything to the power of 0 is equal to 1. Okay, so guys, that is going to be the value of y. Again, easy marks that you can get yourself. Now, moving on, for the last part of it, what we're doing next is very simple. We just need to find out the value of x for which this function is discontinuous. What do? We need to equate the denominator to 0. So we'll say cos 2x is equal to 0. Guys, this is like solving for the general solution. So you'll say 2x is equal to, you say shift cos, right? And then 0, the answer is going to be 90. Okay, so 90 is our reference angle, so 2x is equal to that. Now, cos is positive in which quadrant? In the first and the third. So in the first quadrant is going to be 2x is equal to 90, divide that by 2. Therefore, x is equal to 45 degrees. Okay, and then in the fourth quadrant is going to be 2x is equal to 360, isn't it? 360 minus 90 divided by 2, right? Therefore, x is equal to 360 minus 90 is 270. Divide that by 2, you get 135 degrees. Guys, this is how you get your answers. Whenever you see a trig and they're asking you to solve for x, guys, just know that your answer has to result in a general solution. So you can't just give 45 as your answer. You have to think about the other quadrant when the reference angle is a positive, or when this is positive. Okay, right, guys, that is that for this video. 10 marks, 10% of your paper, very important. You can't go without this 10%, right? Because it gets tougher down there. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe, and meet again in the next video. Cheers.